Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. It is Rachel here, and today I'm going to tell you why your base routine sucks. We're going to go do an in-depth base tutorial, and I'm going to show you a whole bunch of products that work for all skin types, and you're going to like it, and you're going to get over the fact that I'm roasting you and your crappy base routine the entire video. So yeah, let's just get into it. I know you guys are thinking that I look stupid right now, and I do, and that's okay. I've accepted that. But yes, I put on 25mm lashes without any foundation on. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now we can carry on through the rest of the video. So number one, you are not prepping your skin properly. I see this all the time. People just put on a moisturizer and call it a day. No, no, not correct. You want to start off with a good moisturizer, yes, but before that, you want to prep your skin with some sort of hydrating mist. You can use like Mario Badescu, or there is like an Olay hydrating facial mist that's really nice as well. And then you want to use hyaluronic acid. Now, hyaluronic acid will be your best friend. It is chef's kiss. It is lovely. So the Ordinary has a hyaluronic acid for around $6. And then for my moisturizer, I prefer the Pond's Dry Skin Cream. It's very thick, very hydrating, which is what I need because I have dry skin. If you have more oily combo skin, you can use something a little less intense, like there's a Clinique moisturizer in a yellow bottle. That one soaks in super fast. Or you can use the Neutrogena Hydra Boost like gel water moisturizer. That one's really nice as well. But you want to make sure you are properly prepping your skin. I personally like to go in with a facial oil as well. If you are too greasy for that, you do not have to. But if you have dry skin, I highly recommend putting on a facial oil everywhere because it will change your life. Right now I don't have any on, I just have my Pond's Dry Skin Cream, but wear an oil. So today for my oil, I'm going to use the Milk Makeup Sunshine Skin Tint. Just because I'm kind of just trying to run through this. So I just go like this and put a little bit on my hand. I know it's got a roller ball, but I feel like I can't get the most out of it with the roller ball. And I just put that all over my face. I grease up that T-zone. I do not care because I am dry. And I look like a tomato. Lovely. So yeah, I recommend doing an oil. The Ordinary has a really good rosehip oil, which is a little bit, let me restart. The Ordinary has an oil. I really like the Marula oil. It is the most hydrating, most oily, which I like the most. But they also have the rosehip oil, which sinks in a little bit faster. And then this one as well, the Milk Makeup one. This one's super hydrating, but it sinks in very fast, just like the NYX Primer oil. So there's some options for oils for you. So for primer, we have a few options. Primer is not necessary, however, it is a step that I prefer in my makeup routine. I just feel like it makes everything look a little bit better. That could be just total, like, not true at all, but I personally really like the way primer helps with blending out my foundation. Either the Cover FX Gripping Primer or the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer are both pretty similar. The Jelly Pop Dew is not as sticky, but it's a lot cheaper. If you have more oily combo skin, this would probably be a better primer for you rather than the other ones I mentioned because they're much more hydrating, much more greasy feeling. But yeah, those two would be fantastic if you have more oily skin because they just won't, it'll kind of hold everything in place. The Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter is so nice. This one's in the shade 4. This is the shade that I like to use because I'm fake tanned. Or the Cover FX Dewy Skin Primer. This is like a sheared out Vaseline. It is phenomenal for dewy skin. So if you have dry skin, 100% recommend this. If you have oily skin, I say run away screaming because I do feel this would be a bit too oily for your liking. But this one, it's pretty hydrating, so if you have oily skin, you could just put it on like the high points of your face, things like that, if that bothers you. But I'm going to use the Cover FX Dewy Skin Primer today just because I haven't used it recently. We've been trying to kind of like focus on a couple certain products and kind of pan them, so I'm going to use this one today. Now for foundation, I have a few recommendations. I personally, again, have very dry skin, so something like the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear foundation looks really, really nice if it's paired with a moisturizer or my Vichy Mineral 89 serum. It shears out more beautifully, it's a little bit glowier, or maybe mixed in with an oil. This is better suited for normal to oily skin, I would say. So if you have oily skin, this would be a really, really, really good one, as well as the L'Oreal Freshwear foundation. This one's really good as well, especially if you have oily combo skin or normal skin. For dry skin, I do recommend mixing this with something or prepping your skin really well like I did today, but yeah, personally, I like to shear this out with something. Foundation I believe can work for everybody. This is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. Has medium to full coverage. I still do shear this out. I do shear out most of my foundations because I want more of a light, maybe medium coverage. I don't want to teeter on the side of full. But this foundation's phenomenal. I'm getting pretty low on it. I'm like down here on the bottle. But this one's really, really good. Jackie Aina says it works beautifully for oily skin, so I assume it does, but let me know if you have any, opinions on this. But personally, this to me would be one of my top favorite foundations ever. It just looks really, really nice on the skin. Now, if you have severely dehydrated, flaky, crusty, nasty skin like I do, the two top best foundations of all time, I'm sorry they're not drugstore, they are high-end. First of all, the Lancome Skin Feels Good Skin Tint. This stuff is like butter. I love it. I have not repurchased it because I'm going through other foundations because we're panning things out, but I did run out of mine. This one is in this is in the fairest shade, which is not fair at all, FYI. But this stuff is this is by far the most dewy hydrating foundation I've ever tried in my life. If you're not used to something that remains tacky on the skin, you might want to, get a sample or just kind of test it out, because this will remain tacky, as well as the Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation. This is my second bottle of this. I have a third in backup as well. This one is in the shade 42. This is my holy grail foundation, period. I mean, this, you can't do any wrong. It will never ever look cakey. It'll never look, too much or anything like that. I highly, highly, highly recommend this to anybody with normal to dry skin. If you have oily skin, I would say you could try this, but you may have to powder or use a mattifying primer. Normally I conceal first, but I won't today. I'm going to use my Natasha Denona Face Glow Foundation in the shade 42 and a damp beauty blender. I'm going to take 2 pumps of that, since this is more light coverage, and then I'm going to do half a pump of my Vichy Mineral 89 serum. This is a hyaluronic acid serum, and it will make any foundation just a touch lighter coverage, but it will add the dew to any foundation. This one, it's not really necessary, but I just feel like mixing it. But this stuff is magical. And if this foundation is a little bit too dark, don't mind that. This is like my last day of self-tanning, so I'm gonna scrub this off and redo it tomorrow. But basically, I just blend it out with a beauty blender. With this specific foundation, I don't think that a brush works at all, personally, because it's really, really sticky. Like, it does remain tacky on the skin, so it's really, really sticky and hard to blend out with a brush. So I recommend doing this one with a sponge. Everything else you can do with the brush, but I think in general a sponge always gives a better finish, and I always go over what I do with a sponge anyway. Even if I use my hands or a brush, I always go over the foundation with the sponge, just because I feel like on my nose and just everywhere else it's not as smooth. So a brush can give you more coverage, but it's not as pretty, in my opinion. This is lighter coverage than normal because I did shear it out with the Vichy Mineral 89 serum, but you can still see my redness. You can still see I've got like a little mole here. You can still see that. I don't know if you can under the lights, but you can see everything, and I do not care, because look, you see me from head on and I look fine. Like, I don't look off. I don't look like, ooh, she might need more coverage. I look like I have beautiful, healthy skin, which is what we all should be going for. We should not be going for full coverage, caked up in the nose, caked up in between the brows, giant creases in your forehead and your smile lines. If you do something a little bit more natural, then it wears a lot better and you can touch it up a lot easier. So for instance, I don't normally powder. If I powder, I only do like under my eyes. So let's say that I smudge off part of my foundation, I can just go like this, no problem, because I never set it with powder. We're not caking product on. And if you like full coverage foundation, I am personally attacking you because I used to like full coverage foundation. And then I discovered that I was wrong. So full coverage matte, that's not the move anymore. The move is light coverage, light to medium coverage, dewy. So you can build it as needed, but I say leave as little product, like only put a little amount of product on your nose and around your mouth if possible. I know people have discoloration, but just a general rule of thumb, because that's where you'll get creases in your smile lines and the nasty little like caked up gunk in your nose. Blech. Now for concealer, I have a few favorites. My top 100% favorite holy grail concealer ever is the Huda Beauty Overacheiver concealer. This has a ton of coverage, so you don't need a lot of it, but on top of that, it is not matte. So I expected, I got this for Christmas, Vic got it for me, I expected that it would be like full coverage, terrible, like sticky matte, like crusty under the eyes, bleh. It is the exact opposite. It's full coverage, but it looks amazing. To me, this is like a good version of the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. I'll explain how I feel about that in a moment, but this is my holy grail concealer. Two others that I really enjoyed. This is the Kokie Be Bright Illuminating Concealer. I thought this was burning my under eyes, but I found out it was these makeup wipes that I was testing out. But this is really, really pretty. It's got medium coverage, definitely not full, but you can build it up a little bit. And it is very, very dewy under the eyes. So if you have oily skin, you know, you definitely want to set this down. Any skin type can set it down, just depending on your preference. I personally don't care if my concealer creases because it's gonna crease with powder anyway, so like I couldn't care less. So I don't know, creasy concealer is fine with me. I don't think it looks worse than nasty baked under eyes. And then another one is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. This one's really, really nice. It does dry down a little bit more matte than the others, but it is still really, really beautiful consistency. It's kind of got like a serum-y texture. I really, really like this. It's medium to full coverage. And then lastly, this is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This looks beautiful upon initial application, but like an hour in, it looks nasty, even if I set it with powder, because I know people are gonna be like, oh, it's because you don't set your concealer with powder. No, wrong. It's because it sucks. So I personally wouldn't recommend this concealer. It's got a lot of product and it looks really nice on the face, but I don't like it under the eyes. So today I think I'm just gonna use my Kokie Be Bright concealer because I haven't used it enough. I have a hair on my face. Where are you? Oh, maybe it's the speck of glitter that I'm feeling. Oh well, I'm just gonna blend over the hair. But you can color correct under your eyes if you would like to. I personally don't always. I just do sometimes, depending on how tired I am. But with this concealer, I use a little bit more than normal. But I do just add little triangles there. I also believe that it doesn't look good when you use a concealer 10 times lighter than your skin tone. I think it looks very bad, actually. So I do conceal everywhere, like I do the center of my forehead, my upper lip, my chin, and then under my eyes. I sometimes do it down the bridge of the nose, but normally I can blend everything there so it looks fine. But yeah, and then I blend that out with my sponge. This one you can leave to dry for a long time if you want to make it more full coverage because it is so creamy. But again, yeah, I think the highlighted under eye look looks bad, honestly. I think it looks very bad. And nobody wants to admit it, but it makes you look more tired. And that's a fact, and I don't want to hear anybody telling me it's not, because it is. And I'm really sick of people highlighting their under eyes. That's all I want to say. Anyway, so I'm just going to blend that out. I normally use the butt of the sponge, like, for everything. I don't know why. I just feel that it blends a little bit better when you have product from, like, you know, I have my foundation on here, so I know that it's not just all my concealer. I don't know. I feel like it looks better that way, so do what you want, but that's personally how I do my stuff. If you aren't cream bronzing, if you are skipping cream bronzer, I need you to exit this video immediately and go to the store and get yourself a dang cream bronzer, okay? It's so necessary. Oh my god, like you have to cream bronze. It looks so much better. So honestly, I'm trying to get some use out of this, so I'm gonna use this for cream bronzer today. It's the L'Oreal Pro Glow Foundation. This one's in the shade 209. I bought this instead of 208 once, and it's way too orange for like all over the face, but it makes for a good like subtle cream bronzer. I would normally go a little bit darker than this, but I think that this looks really, really pretty as a cream bronzer because it's glowy and it's more of a natural color. It looks quite nice. So we'll use that today. But I love the Wet n Wild contour sticks, and I love the Natasha Denona tan palette. There's a cream bronzer in that. I love the LA Girl Pro Concealer, the Fenty Beauty Matchsticks, all of that. So I just use this to bring back some life into the face. So I personally don't do like nose contour. I honestly just bronze the crap out of my nose and then move on with life because it just doesn't always look good. But I personally like to bronze my nose. I think it looks more sun-kissed. But I just blend this out with the butt of the sponge again. So I just got a ton of foundation in my hairline, which we're going to ignore for the time being. But yeah, here's the little, you know, cream bronzer moment. It's like, it's very, very subtle, which is not my vibe, but I will use a powder bronzer on top of it, so it doesn't really matter. But I just think it looks really, really nice, and it's a nice, you know, transition kind of color for the face. Now, if you are an under-eye powderer, now is your time. I like to let the concealer sit for a bit, and then, you know, you can blend it out with a sponge again, make sure all the creases are out. But I personally think powdering over a freshly wet concealer looks like absolute butthole. So now you can powder. So I am going to powder just under my eyes with the Becca Hydro, what's it called? Hydro Mist Set and Refresh Powder. This stuff's kind of crazy because it feels wet on your face. I just use literally the smallest amount on a little brush and tap under the eyes because I don't like powdering. But if you need a little bit more, you can, but I personally think less is more with powder for every single skin tone or skin type. If you're prepping your skin properly, you shouldn't need to bake. You shouldn't need to do 10 pounds of powder under your eyes, on the forehead, around your mouth. That looks bad. It does. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, most people will be like, do your base how you want. And like, you can. Please, by all means, do your base how you want. But if it looks bad, it looks bad. And that's what baking all over your nose, around your mouth, on your forehead, under the eyes, it looks bad. There's no possible way that anybody could ever make that look good. And this is a fact because the only time it looks good is in videos where you have studio lighting and so it's blurred out. But in person it looks like a white Sahara desert under your eyes. It looks so stupid. Why are we still baking under the eyes? It is 2019. It's almost 2020. We're almost to 2020 and you guys are still baking under your eyes. What is the reason? If you are not a drag queen, please let me know. What is the reason? I don't understand. Now, this is the time where you would go in with a powder bronzer. I think most powder bronzers are created equal, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm just going to bronze a little. I'm just going to use my Guerlain Terracotta bronzer because I haven't used it in a while, and it's expensive. So I'm going to use that, but I don't think there's much to say on bronzer. Don't let it be a stripe, but other than that, there's not... Most people know how to bronze, so I'm not gonna like roast you on bronzer. I know you've been enjoying the roast session so far, but we're not gonna do that. Now for blush. No, wrong. For highlight, always highlight before blush. This is a fact. This is a necessity. If you highlight after blush, you're wrong. I just want to let you know that right now. Honestly, you can use pretty much any highlight of your choice. I'm going to use my Maybelline Master Comb in Molten Gold because I think it's really, really lovely. Take it on this little Morphe M438 little pointed kind of petal brush. There's not much to say about this other than don't stop building it up to look like a white stripe on your face. Use a highlighter, unless you're doing something, you know, more avant-garde-y and you want a duochrome blue highlighter. Like, that's fine. But when you're just doing your makeup on a normal day, it's not necessary to have a bright white highlighter because it just looks wrong. It looks funny. And like when you're not in the direct sunlight and the sunlight and the like studio lights aren't hitting you, it looks bad. It really does. And I speak from personal experience, so I'm only slightly coming for you. I'm also coming for myself. I like to highlight everywhere. I like to do the cheeks, my chin, my cupid's bow, my nose. I don't normally do forehead much anymore, but you know, you do you. So for powder blush, I love cream blush, but on a day-to-day basis, a lot of times I do use a powder blush because I want to. So one of the powder blushes I like is the Profusion Blush and Glow palette. I like to use these more as blush toppers, but I can use them on their own. Just these two shades, obviously. But they are definitely, they're just highlights. That's what they are. They're highlights. I don't know if you can see them, but they're very blinding. They're very intense. I really like them on the face. If you have a ton of like skin texture and acne, maybe not, but it's totally up to you. I personally like it. I do have skin texture that you can't really see on camera or like in pictures. It's gone down a lot since I've gotten better with my skincare, but I do have rosacea, which is like the redness on my face and all of that. So bear that in mind when using something like this. I also love the Alamar Cosmetics blush palette. This one's in the shade medium. One of my favorite blush palettes ever. And then the Natasha Denona Bloom palette. You can use the cream blushes in here if you would like. I like to mix the cream blush and the cream highlighter for a glowy blush, or you can use the Duo Glow blush, which is again like more of a highlighter, a very highlighted blush. In terms of cream blushes, this has got to be my favorite formula. It's the Nude Sticks Nudies Bloom All Over Dewy color is what it's called. This was in the shade Tiger Lily. It's a nice little peachy moment. I'll use this today because it truly is insane. It gives you like the most beautiful wet look to your cheeks. So I'm a big fan of blush. I put it on my nose and I use more than I do I use more blush than I do bronzer. Personally, I think it looks best. So that's what I'm going to do today, but this gives you the most beautiful wet look. The other one I like is the Flower Beauty Blush Bomb. Oh shit, which is a lot cheaper. But yeah, I just blend this out again with the butt of the sponge. It's all, butt of the sponge does everything. But this stuff, it just looks so nice, and it does remain tacky on the face, so if that bothers you, bear that in mind. But like, it looks like wet. I don't even know if you guys can see it on camera. It looks so nice. So what I'm saying is you should use cream blush a lot, or you should use glowy blushes, because glowy blushes are superior to matte blushes. Yeah, that's all for the base. You can just kind of pop on a lip and call it a day. I'm just wearing a lip gloss. Maybe I'll add a little Maybelline Baddest Beige. Spice it up a little, Rachel. Don't use only clear lip glosses. Oh my god. Oh yes, a sheer nude pink. It made so much of a difference. But yeah, that's everything about the base routine. So if you have any specific questions, I sound stupid. If you have any specific questions in regards to the base, let me know. You do have to tweak everything based on your skin type. So I have so dry of skin that I could wear this for 12 hours and I might get oily, but not like, it won't be like dripping off my face. But even if you have oily skin, I do believe in powdering less than you think you need to. You don't need to bake. You can just powder and be done with it. If you need to touch up later, you can. That's how I personally feel. I will powder later in the day if it is necessary for me. If I'm getting super, super greasy in my T-zone, I will powder. That's all I have to say about it. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions and let me know how you feel about the video. If you did enjoy, go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Comment down below for any future video ideas. Do you like the glowy skin? Do you like full coverage matte? Are you going to make the switch? Let me know. Why am I orange? I don't know. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!